Mm.
Hello and welcome to this special Astrology of 2024 presentation.
We are really excited to be here with Michelle Karen, who's joining us all the way from up in Finland. Hi, Michelle.
Hello.
And this is a really special event for us because Michelle is an incredible astrologer. She's known around the world, and our friend Lee and Cryon have described her as a quantum astrologer. And the Stargate that we work with, it works very much in the quantum field. So I'm really curious how you see that, Michelle. What's your connection to the quantum or the quantum astrology? How does that work for you? How is that deep connection that you have with the planets?
That's a wonderful question, Pragi. Thank you so much. To me, quantum means multidimensional. So when I do a reading, and I've been doing readings since I'm 14 years old, so it's been a little while. I really see the planets as colors, and I see them as speaking to me. And that's why I'm so excited about you doing a meditation on the planets later on, because that's how they talk to me. And I see past lives. I sometimes have images of past lives or films of past lives. I see, of course, the future, the present, and I feel, when people think I channel when I do a reading. I don't think I channel, but I feel things. It goes through my body, and the planets are connecting to me and giving me images, and it's those images I translate into words. So that's the quantum field for me. It's through images.
That's really exciting. Yeah. One of the things that we're going to do today is after Michelle has given a presentation, we're actually going to be creating a meditation with the Stargate, which is an interdimensional doorway, which is why we're excited to work with Michelle in this way, because it works in the quantum field also.
And if you're totally new to the Stargate, just know that there's nothing to do. In these guided meditations, essentially what happens is that we guide you to call for the energy of the Stargate. So even though this physical Stargate is here with us in Mount Shasta, California, through the quantum field, you can invite what we call the etheric Stargate, which is the higher dimensional consciousness that is anchored in the sacred geometry. And essentially, when we do meditations online, people all over the world are simultaneously feeling the same energy. And even if you've never meditated before and you don't usually feel subtle energies, I would say like something like 90 to 95% of people really feel these energies.
For the very first time. Yeah. So,
Great. This is really exciting. Thank you for doing that.
well, it's exciting for us because most people are aware of the planet Earth and the consciousness, Gaia, or Terra, as some people call it. And we're aware that the Earth has a consciousness, but most people don't think of the planets as having a consciousness as well. And that's why I'm excited to hear about your quantum connection, because as you said, they speak to you. And that's exactly what this quantum field is about, this multidimensional nature, which is all held within the quantum.
And they have an energy, like we always think of astrology as the planets influencing us, but it also goes the other way, that we influence the planet.
Yes.
So it's a communication that goes between the celestial bodies, our personal life, and our life on Earth. So, and the energy, for example, of Pluto is very different from the energy of Jupiter. And I hope this is going to come through in what I am going to be talking about.
Beautiful.
Brilliant.
So I'm very excited. So we're going to have a presentation, then we'll take a 5-minute break just so you can grab some water, and then we will come back and guide a meditation where we can experience the different feelings, the different energies of the consciousnesses of the different planets. Okay, so over to
Wonderful.
you and your presentation.
Thank you so much, Pragi. Thank you so much, Julianne. So let me start here. Wait, what am I doing? Okay. Okay, sorry. Just a second. And I'm trying. Okay, here. Play. Here we go. So let me maybe remove all of us so we can see the presentation. So 2024, I am very excited about this year because even though it has started a little bit in a grim way, and I think we're still sort of feeling the remnants of 2023, it's not going to continue that way. So let me start with the ongoing cycles. So these are the cycles, the planetary cycles that have been, over time. So we have Neptune in Pisces still since February 2012, which is going to stay there until March 2025. And Neptune is in its own sign, Pisces. So that brings actually a lot of interest in water, in the consciousness of water, the pollution of water, everything having to do with, how we treat water, the importance of water, also droughts, of course, and places where there's not enough water and places where there's too much water. So Neptune in Pisces also has to do with confusion, that our imagination is very vivid, but it's also a time where what is right is being said that it's wrong, what is wrong is said to be right. There's a sort of lack of discernment. We are served news that are actually stories, made up stories. We don't know what is real, what is not real. So that can be a time where we tend to drift off into fantasy land. And we can see that, for example, with people inventing identities they don't have online, or inventing all sorts of realities that don't exist and that are not even very helpful in terms of our evolution. But Neptune in Pisces also has to do with spirituality and becoming more and more aware of our capacity to go through the veils and to access higher dimensions and to listen to our inner voice and to be guided by our own intuition. So this is a time where there is a potential for a perfect spiritual atonement for those people who are awake enough and discerning enough, because we really need to have a lot of discerning abilities during this period to go through all this sort of muddled, confused, deceitful reality that we are being served, that is there to really detract us from what is really important. And then we have Uranus in Taurus, which started in May 2018, will still be there until April 2026. And Uranus in Taurus is about practical innovations. It's about earth changes, where all of a sudden places where there was no earth issue, all of a sudden we could have a volcano eruption, we could have an earthquake, we could have a tsunami, things, the earth rebelling against mistreatment. And we were talking about the consciousness of the planets. Of course, our planet Earth has a consciousness and is not so happy about some of the abuse we have been subjecting it to. So Uranus in Taurus also has to do with nature. So Uranus has to do with freedom. So this is also a wonderful period of time where people started becoming more aware of food, resources, and maybe wanting to plant orchard, or having even just a little vegetable garden or a herb garden. And even if we don't have a garden or the chance of having some land, we can do that in our living room. Instead of growing flowers, let's grow lettuces. Or people who transformed, for example, parking lots into vegetable gardens for a whole community or a whole building. And also Uranus in Taurus has to do with money. And Uranus in Taurus could lead us towards more cryptocurrencies, but it also is highlighting the need to focus on real money, like gold, silver, things we can touch, things, land, real estate, things that are very practical and very real, that are not just ethereal. And Uranus in Taurus, we have seen a lot of changes in the banking system. I don't know. I mean, in the US, a lot of branches, bank branches started to close down. All over the world, there's been, issues with money or fear about money. But at the same time, Uranus in Taurus is asking us to become more and more independent, and maybe to find new ways of making money and sustaining ourselves and creating new sources of income that are unusual, different, unique to each person. Maybe using the internet, like now we are on Zoom, and years ago that was not maybe something we would have thought about, but now it's happening. And then Saturn in Pisces since last year, March 2023, until next year, May 2025. And as you can see, there's going to be another layer of change in 2025, 2026. Saturn in Pisces is a bit of a strange combination, because Saturn is all about structures, discipline, hard work. And Pisces is all about the ocean, dissolution, spirituality, dreams, the mystical, all of that. So when Saturn enters Pisces, that's actually a very interesting time, because it could lead to a certain hopelessness, a certain despair, discouragement. People could feel they cannot cope with reality anymore. But at the same time, it is asking us to develop our self-reliance, our ability to accept existing conditions instead of fighting them, but finding our way, like water finds its way around the rocks and doesn't stop, is not stopped by obstacles, but sort of, flows around. And this is about learning to implement practical solutions to problems, but also develop our powers of intuition and imagination and give them a concrete form through work, through hard work and discipline, which sometimes is something lacking in Pisces. So it's actually an interesting time where we are structuring, to a certain extent, our faith, our connection to higher realms of consciousness. Now, Jupiter has been in Taurus since last year, May 2023, and will be there until May 25th of this year, 2024. Last time it was in Taurus was in 2011, 2012, and 2000, which is actually very interesting if we think about it, because these were years where we were like, oh my God, is this going to be the end of the world? Can you imagine that 2000 was almost a quarter of a century ago? It feels like yesterday, right? And 2011, 2012, that was the end of the Mayan calendar, where people were thinking, oh my God, it's going to be the end of the world. And no, it's the end of one world, of one consciousness, and the beginning of something else, which actually we are starting to feel very keenly now in 2024. So Jupiter in Taurus is very much about also focusing on security, focusing on our well-being, focusing on nature, on healing. Again, it has to do with gardening, planting, plants that are useful for our sustenance, working hard to secure our comfort, investing in our financial future, having a generosity towards others based on maybe more need than sympathy, but at the same time multiplying our sources of income and our resources. So it could be a time where we are much more grounded, much more conscious also of the sacredness of Mother Earth, because Jupiter is about philosophy and Taurus is about nature and trees and land and things that are very concrete. So there is an understanding of ceremony, an understanding of honoring nature and seeing nature as a living being, like the Keros who initiated me in Peru call nature Pachamama. It's our mother, our divine mother, Mother Earth. Now, when we come specifically to 2024, numerologically it adds up to 8, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4, ruled by Saturn. And in the tarot, it is the card of strength. So Saturn is very much a planet of discipline, structure, time, hard work, really being very focused also on wisdom. And Saturn, which is a planet of Capricorn, usually Capricorns start their life being old and end up their life being younger. And I'm a Capricorn and I can attest to that. I feel a lot younger today than I was in my 20s. But Saturn is very much a planet that gives rewards at the end, that doesn't give rewards first, contrarily to Jupiter. Saturn, you have to deserve the rewards. You have to prove yourself. You have to be patient. You have to be diligent. You have to be self-reliant. And these are all qualities that we are going to be asked to develop this year, is to really focus on ourselves in terms of achieving self-mastery. And the more we can achieve self-mastery, and I think this is also the very big gift that we got in 2012 at the end of the Mayan calendar, it was not going to be the end of the world, but it was going to be the end of a time that had been planned. And there was no telling what is going to happen when a large number of people awaken to their spiritual mastery. And I think this year, 2024, which is why I'm so excited about this year, is really a year of owning our mastery. And 8 is also the lemniscate. It's about going from one dimension to another. And the card of strength also stresses that. If you look at the image, it's about honoring our lesser instinct, but also our higher self is ruling our lower self and not the other way around anymore. So January that we just went through, we had a major event, which is Pluto entering Aquarius for the second time. It started the first time in March until June of last year, 2023. And it will really enter Aquarius in November, on November 20th, 2022, until 2044. So it will already start shifting in 2043, but 44 is going to be the actual year of shift. So this is a huge event because it's going to affect pretty much the next 20 years of our lives. And Pluto is a very slow moving planet. It is a planet of power. It is the planet of transformation, regeneration. And Aquarius is the sign of the people, which is why I really see this as power to the people. The last time this happened was between 1778 and 1798, which, if we remember our history classes, was the time of the American and the French Revolution. And what happened during that in America, it was about, freeing the states to become the states from the rulership of England. And in France, it was about abolishing monarchy and the people rushing into the Bastille, which was a big prison where political prisoners were held, and of course, cutting the head of the king. So Pluto in Aquarius, I believe, is really going to be an amazing time, because it's going to be a time, and we're starting to see that. I'm in Europe right now, and in France, in Germany, all the farmers are starting to rebel, are blocking the roads. In Finland, where I'm now, there was a major strike yesterday. So there is a lot of unrest, social unrest going everywhere. And the people are starting to realize that our governments are not always representing us, and that now it's time to take things in our own hands. And this is what's going to happen more and more. And if a mass of people start to rebel against certain unfair social structures, then things are going to change for real. And Aquarius is also the sign of the future. It's a sign of equality, of also space. So I think we're going to hear more and more about extraterrestrial influence in our daily life. We are going to see more and more changes in technology, and I cannot wait to see those children being born now with Pluto in Aquarius, because that's going to be a whole different generation. Those kids are literally going to be born with computers in their brains and understanding technology like we have never understood it before, and are going to transform technology in major ways. And also Pluto in Aquarius could bring great inventions, like unheard of inventions. And that could be the time where we start to see flying cars, where we start to see start to go to other planets on a more regular basis. I mean, that's also a time where issues around AI are going to become very, very much to the forefront, good and bad, because artificial intelligence, of course, has good sides, but has also very great dangers. So it's going to be a time of major, major revolution. And I believe, as always, there's good and there's bad. And we have to, of course, always choose the better side of every evolution that humanity goes through. But that's going to be definitely something that changes our lives forever and shifts us to a whole new dimension. And I believe also there's going to be more democratic governments, probably governments with rulers who are younger, visionary, and who are not taking just the power to themselves, but are consulting with the people and are representing the people. And there's not this shift or this, separation that we have experienced in the past. And then February, we have another very big change, and that's that in Chinese astrology, we are entering the year of the wood dragon. So on the 10th of February, and that will last a whole year until January 28, 2025. So the wood dragon is actually a very nice year, because it's a year of goodwill. It's a year of social cooperation. It's a year where potentially explosive situations are turned around, where there is a need to back away from conflicts, aggression, adversity. and there's real diplomatic efforts. So I know that a lot of people are very afraid of World War III. I know, you know, all the conflicts going on in Ukraine, Iran, and all those other places. But somehow I feel that with the Wood Dragon, that's not going to go in that direction. You know, there's going to be discussions, a lot of discussions, a lot, maybe convoluted discussions, but the consensus or the goal will be more on peace and balance than more conflict and more war. So I don't think that those people who want war are going to succeed very well in 2024. And I believe that a lot of conflicts that we have been witnessing are also going to die down. You know, even what is going on in Gaza and all those places. And I think there's going to be spiritual leaders who really have, I mean, political leaders who are also spiritual leaders and who are much more open-minded, who see much better the big picture and not focusing on the short-term, benefits. There could be some breakthroughs in medical research, but definitely there's going to be a need for seeing through all the situations that are misleading, confusing, blurry. There's going to be a need for truth, and truth will prevail. And there's going to be a need to support each other. There's going to be much more collaboration between people. It's not going to be, you know, each on their own, in their own corner, and let's hope for the best. You know, it's going to be like there's going to be real social solidarity. There's going to be really people wanting to be warm towards each other and really helping each other as much as possible, because we need to rely on others. Each of us is society, and the more we collaborate with each other, the more we can create a better world. And this is a time, really a year, to dream our life into being. You know, I was, as I said, I was trained by the Keros in Peru. And for the Keros, you know, they don't understand the concept of protection, because they say, well, wait, why? Why do you want to protect yourselves against what? What you see in the world is a reflection of yourself. So change yourself, the world will change. And as shamans, we dream the world we want into being. And I think that's important. With the Wood Dragon, we're going to be able to do that a lot more. So in March, we have the first of 4 eclipses this year, which will happen in Libra. On the 25th of March. And that's a very interesting, eclipse. Eclipses are always sort of stepping stones that lead us into the next 19 years of our lives. And the image associated with that specific eclipse in the Sabian symbols, because every degree of the zodiac has a specific image, and it is a man watches his ideas taking a concrete form before his inner vision, which really goes with what I was just saying now, that this is a time where we need to focus on the most positive outcome, because, you know, the world and the news and everything going on around us is wanting us to manufacture more fear. And as spiritual beings, our job is to see the highest destination. And if we can focus on what we want as opposed to what we don't want, that is what we're giving power to, and that's what we are going to be able to manifest. And an eclipse in Libra really points to balance, to the need for balance, to the need to become much more in equilibrium in our lives and find more harmony, more peace, and focus on this harmony and this peace. Now, in April, we will have the second. First, we will have Mercury retrograde. And I know a lot of people feel like this little cat when Mercury is retrograde between the 1st and the 25th of April in Aries. And we're only going to have 3 retrograde periods in 2024, which is actually also pretty unheard of because usually there's at least 4 or 5, and there's only 3. And they are all in fire signs, which has to do with inspiration, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So this first Mercury retrograde period, and I know people don't like Mercury retrograde because it looks, it's actually an optical illusion, a retrograde planet. It looks like against the background of the stars, it's going backwards, when of course it's not, but it still has meaning for us, and it's based on the respective speeds of the planets, of our planet here on planet Earth and the other planet. So the sun and the moon are never ever retrograde, but the others all can be retrograde. And Mercury doesn't have good press because that's the time where things break down. That's the time where we forget stuff, where our planes are delayed, where we lose luggage, where we misunderstand, where people change their mind, which is all communication gets a little messed up. But I personally love Mercury retrograde because this is a time where things become exciting. You hear from people you haven't heard from in a long time. You go to places you haven't been to in a long time. You remember stuff you haven't done in a long time. And Mercury retrograde in Aries really is going to give us, a chance to reevaluate ourselves, reevaluate our belief system, return to experiences that maybe we had not integrated properly. Maybe our judgment is going to be a little impulsive. Maybe we will enjoy a lot of intellectual sparring, but things are going to move forward in a very big way because Aries is not about the past. Aries is about the future. It's actually the beginning of the zodiac. So it's a time where it's the beginning of spring in our latitudes. It's a time where life is born again. So that's going to be a pretty wonderful month with the eclipse and Mercury retrograde. And then we have the second eclipse of the year in Aries on April 8th. And that's very exciting too, because I have never seen such an eclipse. Everything is in Aries, pretty much. And everything is very, very focused. So this to me is going to be a whole new beginning. And the image associated with that eclipse is a young girl feeding birds in winter. So, of course, winter is a time where there's a scarcity of food, and the birds are, they are going to be coming to spring with their little offsprings and their nests and starting over their family. And the fact that this young girl is feeding them is making sure that life is nurtured. So this solar eclipse in Aries is, to me, the way I look at this chart, it writes in big neon letters, reset. It's going to be like a time of complete reset, of complete new beginning, of starting all over again and starting anew. Like that's going to be a clear cut with what came before. So if we felt still that 2023's energies were still sort of lingering, come April, that's going to shift to a whole new dimension and new beginnings and new possibilities and starting over in a very dynamic manner. And then in May, we have the first of 3 Jupiter transits, Jupiter sextile Neptune. And these are the most important aspects because we want always to look at the transpersonal planets, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and then the threshold planets, Jupiter and Saturn, which are more collective because they move slower. So they, affect us collectively in a much more specific way. So Jupiter Neptune is really going to enhance our spiritual awareness. That could be a time of expansive mystical experiences. Our intuition is going to become much more vivid. That's a time where we might want to search, go more on spiritual searches, join mystical groups. Also, where there's going to be more idealism, and humanitarian endeavors are also going to be very much enhanced during this time. There's going to be more kindness, more consideration, more compassion, more a wish to help those who are maybe not as privileged as we are. And that's going to be a time of rewards for past good actions. So some circumstances could be a little strange when Jupiter comes in aspect with Neptune. We could have a very profound fantasy life, which is, however, focused on solving very real problems. And we have a broader sense of the infinity of possibilities, because the truth is, we don't have just one future, we have many futures. And the question is, which future do we choose? And what, as the Chinese saying says, man is a creature of reflection. What he focuses on, he manifests. And the more we start to use our imagination in a positive channel, and we channel it positively, the more we are going to be able to create the future we actually want, and not the one we don't want. So Jupiter sextile Neptune, I think there's also going to be a very marked shift or difference between those people who have just been sort of living and not asking themselves any profound questions and not spiritually working on themselves, and those who have. And for those who have not, life is probably going to become more and more difficult. Whereas for those who have, there's going to be miracles all over, and we are going to have really feel the rewards of all the good work we have done and all the efforts we have done to better ourselves and to rise in consciousness. And then also in May, Jupiter enters Gemini for a whole year. So on the 25th of May 2024 until June 10th, 2025. So almost more than 12 months. And again, the last time this happened was 2000 until 2001 and 2012 until 2013, which is again the times when we were thinking, oh my God, the world is going to end and what's going to happen to us. Jupiter in Gemini is very interesting because again, it's stressing communication. There's going to be a lot of talk about education, schools, safety in schools. There could be a complete renovation of the educational system. Social media will explode, and Jupiter has to do with journalists, writing, traveling, teaching, social media, politics also. All of this is going to come under scrutiny. I believe with Jupiter and Gemini, we're going to see more and more independent journalists starting their own channel and wanting to say the truth and stepping away from sort of the scripted news that we are getting in regular news channels. And there's going to be a real exchange of information. There's going to be much more curiosity. There's going to be new ideas. There's going to be, our positive thinking is going to become more and more important. There's going to be a thirst for knowledge, true knowledge, and not fake knowledge. There's going to be broad-mindedness. We could feel rather restless, and there could be a lot. The speed of information is going to be accelerated. So we could feel like if we think that time is flying past us, That's going to accelerate with Jupiter in Gemini. And we will have to be also very careful not to become too scattered, because it could be very easy to be all over the place with Jupiter in Gemini. And this is already happening now. You know, you go on Google, you search something, and next thing you know, you are like 2,000 miles away, you know, searching other stuff that had nothing to do with what your initial intention was. So we will have to be very, very focused, mentally super focused during this period. And if we are, and if we channel our thoughts in a positive manner, there's no telling what we can create. It's going to be extraordinary. And then in June, we have the second Jupiter transit, Jupiter trine Pluto, between Gemini and Aquarius on the 2nd of June, which also is a very powerful transit. It really has to do with gaining insights in the mysteries of life and death. It has to do with actions based on our convictions. So we are going to really speak and walk our truth in a very major way. This will definitely create changes that affect masses of people, uplift humanity, create a regeneration of humanity and our social understanding. So there again, Jupiter, Pluto, it's going to be masses of people rising for the good of all, because there's really going to be a sense of wanting solidarity, wanting to help everybody. Jupiter is very much about helping, and Pluto is very much about power. So there's going to be cooperation with masses of people for a mutual benefit that will bring peace. And there's going to be expanded wisdom, expanded tolerance, expanded discrimination also. That could also, you know, as light casts sometimes a shadow, that could also bring to the surface manipulative, corrupt, power-obsessed, power-hungry people, but they will really be seen in their true light. So people, you know, as time is accelerating, people can't lie anymore or cannot hide their truth anymore. And in a way, we saw that with COVID, when we had to put on masks and all the masks also fell down and the truth of people got revealed in a pretty, you know, glaring light. And this is also what's going to happen with Jupiter trine Pluto, is that there's really going to be a time where we have the ability to conquer hardship. We will find tremendous resources, reservoirs of courage inside of us. We will also become very fascinated with large-scale developments in the world. And that can be also a time where some of those very big corporations represented by Pluto are going to fall down. You know, things that, corporations that never worked for the good of the people, but were taking all the power to themselves, to just a handful of people. That's not going to work in this new consciousness. And actually, you know, we're seeing a lot of stuff collapse, but it's a good thing, because what is collapsing is what is not true. And truth now has to prevail in this new consciousness. And we're going to see that massively starting to happen in 2024. July, no special aspects, so we can celebrate the 4th of July happily. And August, we have again Mercury retrograde, second period between Virgo and Leo. So I know Virgo is not a fire sign, it is an earth sign, and Leo, but Leo is a fire sign. So this is between August the 4th and the 28th. So please don't be grumpy about it, because it's a fun time. That's going to be a time that brings more curiosity. We will probably have a a deeper sense of what is right and what is wrong. We will pay more attention to details. We could maybe be a little more critical, but also because it's in Leo, we are going to want to shine our light. We're going to want to take our space, and we are going to want to be seen and creative. And there could be also more interest in children and the education of children, also the care and the responsibility towards children will become much more, intensified during this particular Mercury retrograde period. And then we have in September, Pluto returns to Capricorn for the very last time between the 2nd of September and the 19th of November 2024. So Capricorn, Pluto has been in Capricorn since November 2008. And Pluto in Capricorn, actually, Pluto and Capricorn are sort of space buddies. They really connect well together. But Pluto in Capricorn brought more of sort of the old guard, in the sense of governments that are very controlling, or governments or rules that are very fixed and rigid, and older leaders, and a sense of heaviness, a sense of do as I say, not as I do, sort of this sort of very rigid authoritarian consciousness that limits us in very deep structures. So Pluto returning to Capricorn for the very last time, thankfully, and we only have 2 months of that in 2024, and these are the last 2 months for the next 250 years, so we are clear of that. That also is exposing the corruption behind the scenes, is also showing things that had been very well kept, secrets that nobody was able to see until now, and now that are coming in the open, and that people are not going to tolerate anymore, because it's again about giving the power to a few and letting the masses live in misery. And that's not going to fly at all when Pluto enters Aquarius. So those last 2 months, we could see that the old forces or the dark forces are dying with a vengeance, and they are becoming even more vicious before they know that days are counted. And that's what happens, light is always darkest before dawn, because they know they are not going to be able to sustain their ways anymore, and they are going to go away, but without giving a dire, huge last fight. So it could feel like things are becoming darker during that time, but it doesn't mean that it is because that's where we're going. We're actually going towards the light, but darkness does not want to give way to light. Actually, there's a very nice thing in the Bible saying, darkness is light that did not recognize itself, and which is why it remained dark. And there's a Chinese saying that in darkness, give yourself to the darkest. That's where light lies. And it's interesting because I think what we're seeing right now is really a war between darkness and light, between consciousness and lack of consciousness. And light ends up always winning, because it takes only the light of one little candle to light miles of darkness. And this is what we need to remember. So the third eclipse is also happening in September, lunar eclipse in Pisces on the 17th of September. And that's also, that's an eclipse that is represented, the image, by a new moon reveals that it's time for the people to go ahead with their different projects. So it is really an interesting eclipse, because in Pisces it has to do with our dreams, our imagination. We could have very vivid dreams. It also has planets in Virgo and Gemini and Pisces, which has to do, of course, with thinking and our thoughts and how we manage our thoughts. So that's going to be an interesting eclipse in terms of giving form, a concrete form to our dreams, our visions, envisioning the future, and really creating something that we can manifest in concrete, ordinary day-to-day reality. And then in October, we have the last eclipse in Libra. So it's interesting because we're starting the year with an eclipse in Libra, and we're ending the year with an eclipse in Libra. So this is like everything else is sandwiched between this need for balance, this need for harmony, this need for peace. And again, it's a very beautiful eclipse that has a grand trine between Venus, Mars, and Saturn, which is a sign, an aspect of karmic reward. And between Venus and Mars, the masculine and the feminine, and Saturn, the structure, structuring the two and bringing the two together through discipline, work, and vision, because Saturn is in Pisces. So that will happen on October the 2nd. And I believe we will really be ending the year with much more hope for peace than we are starting the year with right now. And that's also going to be because of the people saying we don't want to go to war. We don't want to send our children to war. We are enough with that. We don't want to give money to war anymore. And if massive people start to act in that way and think in that way, which I believe in our nobody wants war, and we see how disastrous that is, that's going to bring solidarity and peace and harmony. And in November, we have again, and this is the last time, Pluto entering Aquarius on the 19th, 20th of November until 2043, 44. That's when the shift is going to start happening again, and when Pluto is going to enter Pisces. So Pluto in Aquarius, definitely, as I said earlier, it's about power to the people. And it's about people taking their destiny in their own hand and stopping, where we become much more self-reliant, where we don't want, it's not about a savior coming to save us. It's not about the government helping us. It's about we take our destiny in our own hands, and we are moving forward in a more revolutionary way, where we realize that all of us are in the same boat, whatever our race, whatever our culture, whatever our country, whatever our language, we are all in the same boat. We are all humans, and it's by holding hands that we are going to create the future that we want. And there's going to be a renewal also of spirituality, a deeper understanding of what being human means, because that's also a time where there's all this confusion with genders. Everybody is identifying with something that they're not. And that's also Aquarius to a certain way, because Aquarius has to do with no real difference between men and women, and no real difference between cultures and religions, and equality with all. But at the same time, it's about the positive side of that is discovering that we all have the dream of a good life. We all have a dream of happiness, of comfort, and this is what an evolution in our consciousness, and this is really what Pluto in Aquarius is going to make us realize. It doesn't matter if we are man, woman, black, white, yellow, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, whatever we are, it doesn't matter, because it's about humanity at this point and fighting for humanity. And then the last Mercury retrograde is going to be in Sagittarius on the 25th of November until December the 15th. So basically, like this little cat, when life gives you lemons, throw them back and ask for chocolate. And that's going to be very much about integrity, justice, and honesty. This is really what Sagittarius stands for. Transforming our lesser instincts through a philosophy of life that expands our consciousness, expands our world, taking nothing at face value, understanding the meaning behind experience, understanding the reality behind the situations we are finding ourselves in. So that Mercury retrograde at the end of the year, I think, is very, very telling, because it's going to be about seeing the big picture and stop, bickering about little stuff, and really becoming aware that we are all in this together, and that this is a time of expansion of our consciousness and relying on a deeper understanding of the world and ourselves. And then December, we are going to have Mars retrograde. So that happens like every 2-3 years. And it's going to be in Leo and Cancer between the 6th of December until the 24th of February. And Mars is a principle of action. Mars is a principle of moving forward, initiative, taking our, things in our hands, having courage, speaking out, being impulsive, moving forward. So when it's retrograde, especially in Cancer and Leo, we may feel a little frustrated. There could be a little bit of delays in our actions. There could be some uncertainties. We could feel that there is a lack of opportunities. We could feel that we need to be absolutely certain of a course of action before we actually commit to anything. But the lessons here are to reassess our power. That, we reach for the stars, but we reach for the stars in a grounded manner. And that we are more humble in our actions, that we are more conscious of how they affect other people, and that we develop projects that enrich us, but also enhance the lives of others around us. Because Leo and Cancer has very much to do with family, has to do with children, with others, nurturing those close to us, those we cherish. And the last aspect of Jupiter on the 24th of December is Jupiter square Saturn, which is also interesting. A square is considered in astrology a bit of a more challenging aspect because it's a 90-degree aspect. So, it's not as flowing as others. But square, to me, it's like the steps of a staircase, So yes, we have to do a little effort, but it leads us to something else. And that's a time where we are going to be not overly enthusiastic, but not overly pessimistic either. We are going to be able to moderate both our optimism and our pessimism. And we probably will feel good about the pending changes. We're going to feel confident that we can handle our responsibility with discipline, with efficiency, which will in turn lead to productive work. And there can be very big opportunities coming our way at that time. And yes, they will require planning. Yes, they will require effort. But if we do the work, the rewards are going to be amazing. And that and maybe there could be a bit of a conflict between a need for freedom and a need for security, but if we evaluate if we are very clear on what our priorities are, we exert a form of cheerful dignity, and we get on with what needs to be gotten on with, responsibilities, duties, and obligations, then we can create a lot of stability in the face of maybe some challenges that could be coming our way. But that's really a time to reevaluate our long-term plans, be very clear on what our priorities are, and know that our success is earned, and that if we build upon our own strength, what we can create in the world is not out of reach. We can absolutely reach for the stars and be able to manifest the reality that we want. So I wanted to end with the prophecy of John of Jerusalem, which is actually it was published in 1994 by the Édition Jean-Claude Lattès in France, and it was called Le Livre des Prophéties, le troisième millénaire révélé, so the Book of Prophecies, the third millennium revealed. And I read that book, I found that book at La FNAC, I was in Paris at the time, and it absolutely struck me because I knew it was true, even though at that time nobody was talking about what's going on right now. And the prophecy of Jerusalem is attributed to John of Jerusalem, which nobody knows really who he was, probably a Knight Templar in the year of 1000. And this book was found by a Professor Galvieski, and again, mysterious, because if you Google the guy, there's nothing on him, who would have found this prophecy in a monastery near Moscow in Russia. So, it's sort of shrouded in a lot of mystery, this whole thing, but that prophecy is very short. It only has 40 paragraphs, and it talks about the year 1000 coming after the year 1000, so the year 2000, where we are now. And the first 30 paragraphs are extremely grim. It talks about the sword defending the snake. It talks about all the stuff that has emerged in past years. That the father, all the pedophile stuff, all the children's slavery, the selling of organs, that we won't be able to separate what is true from what is not, that we will get lost in false labyrinths, that the fear will lie in every heart, that there's going to be poison going from person to person. A black order will emerge, its law will be hatred, its weapon poison. There will be monarchs devoid of faith who will reign, they will command the innocent. The sight and spirit of men will be held prisoners. There will be predators gathering to better lead them to the abyss. I mean, basically, everything that we are seeing right now, and we have seen in the past few years, is absolutely described in that prophecy, which gives faith or gives hope for the rest, because that's all the prophecy is not grim. And if you want to hear the whole prophecy, you can go to my YouTube channel, Michelle Karen, Astrology Shaman, where I actually did a recording of the whole prophecy. But the first 30 paragraphs are really bad, really grim, really dark, really horrible. But the last 10 are pretty amazing. And this is how it will all end. And the last 10 are saying that when the year 1000 coming after the year 2000 comes in full bloom, man will know the spirit of all things. People will love and share, dream and give birth to dreams. Man will experience a second birth. Spirit will size upon the crowd of men who will commune in fraternity. Faith will show a new vigor after the dark days of the beginning of the first millennium. Happy days will open. Man will watch over all that lives. What he soiled, he will purify. He will feel that all of earth is his home. Thinking of tomorrows, he will be wise, and the earth will be in order again. And he will open his heart and his wallet to the more resourceless. He will have learned how to give and share. Illnesses will be treated before they manifest. Each person will be his own and others' healer. Because man will have in his life lived many lives, he will no longer fear his own death, and he will know that light will never go out again. So considering that the first part of that prophecy has happened, I absolutely trust that the second part will also happen, and that it's upon us. It is coming now with Pluto in Aquarius, with Jupiter in Gemini, with all the stuff all the years that are, what is shifting in the world right now, and that we are helping shift with our consciousness. So this also ties into the Prophecy Rock in Arizona at the Four Corners area, where there is this rock that has been carved, nobody knows for how long and by whom, that shows two paths. And there's the upper path where you have all these people holding hands, but their feet are disconnected from the ground and their heads are disconnected from their body. And that path becomes rockier and rockier until it leads to the abyss. And then there's a lower path where there's only one person representing, a smaller amount of people, and growing corn. And that path goes across and goes beyond the corner of that rock, and shows that this is the life, eternal life, going to eternal life. So basically, those people right now have no faith, no law, everything goes and they don't care, and they sell their body and they go on, OnlyFans or whatever they do. Well, that is leading to the abyss. Whereas those who are nurturing Mother Earth, who are nurturing their consciousness, who are nurturing nature, and who are grounded and who are doing their inner work, that leads to eternal life. And this is really the choice that we are confronted with right now as humanity is evolving. Do we choose the light? Do we choose darkness? Do we choose responsibility, being responsible for ourselves, or do we choose to blame circumstances and everybody else around us? And do we choose to raise and become enlightened, or do we want to just survive and don't care about the consequences of our actions, our thoughts, and our emotions? So this is really what it's all about, I think. So I'm offering to all of you a promo for your year. So this is based on your birth date, time, and place. So I think that Brenda shared that in the chat section. So you are welcome to choose that link, and I will send you a written report that's about between 16 and 18 pages of what's happening for you personally this year. And I'm also giving a $50 discount if you want to sign up to my School of Shamanic Studies online. So this is my online school, starting on the 7th of March until the 10th of March. So just send me an email and I will be happy to give you that discount. So here we are. I will stop the sharing and go back to our... Wait, I'm trying to stop the sharing. How do I do that?
Yeah, Michelle, your sharing has stopped. You can just turn your camera back on.
Yeah, I'm trying to, and I'm not succeeding. Here, sorry. Okay, I can deal with astrology, not always with technology. Okay, here we are, I think. Yes.
Yeah.
Yay.
Hello.
Wow,
Okay.
I was just like bouncing up and down here as you were talking, because for the last few years, Alcazar has been talking about the transition and building us up for this time. And what you've been saying is so much in alignment with the things that Alcazar has been talking about, the importance of coming together and working together and supporting each other, so much about community. And the other thing that he's been really saying about this year is that there's going to be ups and downs, both personally and globally. And you're talking about the collapse of some of these institutions and these large conglomerates around the world. And that's going to create very kind of difficult times out in the world. And he's saying it's so important to be connected, to have friends, to work together, the community. And that was just like, whoa.
So,
And
and thank you for your work, Brigitte and Julian, because what you're doing with the Stargate is definitely supporting this evolution in a grand way, really grand way. So thank you.
yeah, and he's been saying that the work that we've been doing and are still doing is about helping many people energetically for this spiritual transformation, which is exactly the kinds of things that you were talking about. And the other thing that he said that was really important to me is where you put your focus, there's going to be an acceleration on that. So if you're focused on awakening and spirituality and community, there's going to be support there to move you more rapidly. But if you're focused on the negative, the stress, the anger, the frustration, that's going to happen as well. And so there's going to be this choice that we're all being asked to make again and again, just to stay on that higher timeline. It was
Absolutely.
really exciting.
It's also, it's fascinating to me to hear this prophecy, John of Jerusalem. I've never heard of that before, but
Yeah.
it's very interesting because for me, and I know for a lot of other people, it's been a really interesting time of extremes where like sometimes we're like in just in the inner world way, we're deep in the inner pain, and then other times like we're getting these glimpses, like as if the clouds have parted and the light is coming through of just like higher levels of consciousness than I've ever tasted before.
Mhm.
So it's very interesting. And it feels like that is the beginning of something. Alcazar saying like this is happening seemingly randomly right now, but that it's going to be transforming us and stabilizing.
Yeah, and the ET connection.
And we are the ones we've been waiting for. You know, this is really the time. We came, you know, people are like, really? Did I choose this? Yes, we did. We knew this was coming and we knew we were going to be helping this transition. Yes, sorry, ET. Yeah, the ET connection also is going to be very strong. I think
Yeah,
ETs are.
we work with the Galactic Command, and very often they bring energies into our meditations. And they've been saying they are going to be more and more visible over these years to more and more people. And so that's already beginning to happen, but we can expect a lot more of that. And these new inventions, they've said to us that these technologies are already here on the planet, waiting to be revealed, waiting to come out, waiting until human consciousness is open enough to receive it. So, yay, this year is going to be great.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's also going to be there's also has been a lot of inventions that have also been blocked by the powers that be and that are ready to go and to shift a lot of things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those,
Yeah.
you know, certain rulers are, you know, removed, then certain things, other things are going to start happening. It's happening now.
What a delight. And also, you started in the beginning, you talked about new ways of making money and re-evaluating how we work and the intention behind it. And that was exciting too, because we haven't talked about it to our community yet. But one of the things that Alcazar is starting to bring in is for us to support people with their skills so that they can use their skills, their abilities to start supporting themselves in ways that perhaps they haven't been able to up until now.
Yes, so spiritual gifts.
Spiritual gifts, but artistic, you know, basically their gifts, whatever they are, their ability to be business people, whatever abilities to have. So
already with, you know, COVID and the confinements, people started to find new ways of working because a lot of stuff closed or wasn't working anymore, and we started developing other things. I'm amazed, you know, on TikTok and all that. Some of those kids are incredible, and what they're creating is incredible, and they're making money, a lot of money, doing what they love and what they're good at, and being super creative. And I find that extraordinary.
Yeah, it's great. And now it's time for us elder people to realign to the new ways of being.
We're not that old. We're becoming younger with age. Every year
Yeah.
we're becoming
Yeah. So let's just take a quick 5-minute break, grab some water, and just integrate some of the things that we've heard. And then we'll come back and we'll guide a meditation so that people could start to feel the energetic of these different planets, the consciousness of these planets. Okay,
Perfect.
so we'll be back in 5 minutes. Stay with
Perfect.
us.
Thank you.
So, welcome back. We are about to hear from Alcazar, and then we're going to go into a Stargate energy meditation.
And for those of you that are unfamiliar with the Stargate, we have a very short video here just to explain how it works. So we're going to play that to you right now, and then we'll do the meditation afterwards. Beloved ones, we greet thee, 'tis Alcazar. The Stargate is a sacred geometrical structure which acts as an anchor for a higher dimensional consciousness. We call this consciousness the etheric Stargate. Whilst meditating, it is possible to call upon the presence of the etheric Stargate, and many will feel it coming down around you and caressing you in its energy field. We invite you to connect to the energy of the earth to ground you into the body, into the physical. And then we will raise the vibration of your etheric Stargate, moving it slowly and gently up through the frequencies of the various dimensions, bringing you gently up to the 12th dimension. And just by relaxing, nothing to do, your own vibration will gently harmonize with the frequencies of the Stargate and the 12th dimension. And in this place, you become far more sensitive to the guides, to the masters who are available to assist you moving deeper into the meditation experience.
Okay.
So, for this meditation, we're actually going to invite you to close your eyes and be really comfortable. There's nothing to do. It's just about relaxing and receiving the energies that the Stargate will be bringing to us. The physical Stargate is an anchor for a higher dimensional consciousness. And it's that consciousness that will actually be working with us. So we invite you just to be very comfortable, relaxed, close the eyes. We're going to turn off our camera just to help you go inside and just be ready. Take a deep breath and relax. This meditation is going to be guided by Alcazar, who's the Stargate guide, and he'll be coming through myself, Prageet, and Julianne. Beloved ones, we greet thee, 'tis Alcazar. In this process, we will be simply assisting you to elevate your vibration, to raise your vibration. And in doing so, it stimulates, it raises your consciousness, brings a little more awakening into your beingness. When we work with the Stargate, we always connect first to the earth, the consciousness of the earth, Gaia. And so we're going to ask each one of you in this process to follow and to invite those energies that we suggest to you, starting with the energies of the earth. So we ask each one of you just to ask inside, no need to speak it out loud, but just asking with a strong intention and actually combining the feeling from your heart, combining the mind and the heart to create a strong invitation for the energy of the earth, Gaia, to bring her energy up into your body, into your energy field.
And so, just asking inside right now, we are calling for the energy of Gaia, the energy of the earth, to come up into our bodies, into our energy fields.
And just allowing for the possibility that the consciousness of the earth can and does respond to your asking. Very good. And now we are going to ask you to invite the consciousness of the Stargate that we call the etheric Stargate to actually come to you. And for those of you that are familiar with the Stargate, just imagine yourself seated or lying down inside a Stargate. For those of you who are not familiar with the Stargate, just imagine yourself inside a pyramid. And so now each one of you asking inside for the etheric Stargate to come to you.
And so we are calling for the presence of an etheric Stargate.
And even if you are visualizing a pyramid, the consciousness understands the request. So visualizing, feeling yourself encompassed in this energy structure. Very good. And we are now going to vibrate all these etheric structures faster and faster. And as we do so, we actually move up through the vibrational ranges of the different dimensions. And so we are starting this process now. Nothing for you to do, just staying relaxed, keeping the eyes closed, and just being aware of your own energy presence.
And so we are starting this process right now, vibrating all the stargates around the world faster and faster. And we are lifting up out of your third dimensional frequencies and raising into your fourth dimension now and continuing to accelerate.
Moving through the frequency ranges of the fifth dimension, continuing to move faster through the sixth dimensional energies and into the frequency ranges of the seventh dimension, where we pause for a few moments.
And so your Stargate is now vibrating at this seventh dimensional frequency. And we ask each one of you just to ask inside for a strong seventh dimensional energy field.
We call for a strong seventh dimensional energy field in all the stargates around the world. And your Stargate is going to radiate these energies to you. Just as you relax, nothing to do. Slowly, slowly, your own energy is going to elevate, to harmonize with the seventh dimensional energies around you. This is not something that you do just by relaxing, just by allowing. It happens all by itself. And as you relax into these gentle energies, these energies are actually nourishing to your physical body. They bring you delightful energies into every single cell, right down into your very DNA, bringing an alignment to your higher self, to the greater you. Nothing to do, just allowing. Very good. And so now we're going to continue to vibrate all the stargates faster and faster, moving out of the frequency ranges of the seventh dimension, moving up through the eighth, through the ninth, merging into the 10th dimension energetics right now.
And vibrating faster still as we are merging through your 10th into your 11th dimension and continuing to accelerate until we reach your 12th dimensional frequencies, where all the stargates once again come to a gentle pause.
And so now all your stargates are vibrating at the frequencies of the 12th dimension. So again, we ask you with a strong intention, just to ask inside for a strong 12th dimensional energy in your etheric stargate.
And so we are calling for a strong energy field of the 12th dimension in all the stargates around the world.
And as before, just by relaxing, just by receiving these gentle energies of support, slowly, slowly, your own energy will continue to elevate until in a few moments you are again resonating, vibrating in harmony with the 12th dimensional energies around you. It happens all by itself. It is this simple, it is this easy. Nothing to do, nothing to do. And as you start to vibrate this higher level, you become more sensitive to the many guides and beings who are available to support us in our awakening, to support humanity at this critical time of your evolution. With this gentle support, we are going to invite each one of you to ask inside for the presence and support of the angelic realm.
And so just the asking is all that is needed. We are calling for the presence of the angels.
And feel, here they come. Just notice a subtle energy changing around you as the angels come to you. Invite them to come closer.
Come closer.
Come closer. And just feeling their energetic, loving embrace. They are going to hold this field for each one of you as we move into an experience of connecting with the consciousness, the beingness of the various planets. And so we invite you to allow for the possibility that there is this being, this vast consciousness within each of these planets, all connected, a grand intelligence of the universe. And so when we invite you to call for the different planets as we move through them together, we invite you to have a strong intention from the mind, but also an open heart and a desire to feel the connection with these vast beings, with these planets. And so let us start by each one of us asking inside with a strong energy for the presence and support of the planet Saturn.
And so we are calling for the presence of Saturn.
And maybe already you notice there's an energy coming to us. Can you feel that? Can you feel that presence? These beautiful beings are vibrating you now, being held by the angels and feeling the presence of Saturn. Just allowing Saturn to vibrate you, just allowing you to feel that presence, that vastness that is always there, that is always influencing what is occurring on the earth, what is occurring within you and within humanity. As these planets work together to create different opportunities for awakening, for learning, for growing. Feeling the energy of Saturn. Very good. And now we are going to invite Saturn to withdraw the energy, and we are just being held once more in the energies of the angels. We ask Saturn to withdraw so that we can feel the energy of the next planet that we are going to invite. And so now, in the same way, we are going to ask you with a strong intention, a deep desire to feel this consciousness, and asking inside now for the presence of Jupiter.
And so we are calling for the presence of the planet Jupiter.
And feel. Here the energy comes, this beingness of Jupiter. Can you feel this energy? Ask for it to come closer. It is a different vibration. Can you sense the difference between Saturn a moment ago and Jupiter now? Just allowing the vibration of Jupiter. Invite it into your beingness. Because as we connect these various planets, as you feel the energy, you're actually opening up to be more receptive, allowing these planets to guide you, to gift you with their wisdom as we move forward into this 2024 and beyond. So just sensing the presence of Jupiter. Yes. Very good. And again, we are going to invite Jupiter to gently withdraw the energy so that we are again just being embraced by the angelic realm. Let us connect again to the angels. Angels, come closer.
And just feel the wave of support, the wave of presence coming to you from the angelic realm.
Very good. And again, the next planet, again with the strong desire and intention, each one of us asking inside for the presence of the planet Pluto.
And so we are calling for the presence of Pluto.
And feel. Can you feel again the energy of Pluto? A gentle energy coming to you. Feel this. Again, slightly different vibration, a different presence, a different energy of influence. Drawing this in, allowing yourself to feel and connect to the consciousness of Pluto.
And as you may remember, Pluto is a planet that represents power, unseen power. And this power is being transferred, so to speak, to the masses, to the people, as Pluto has just moved into Aquarius. And so we are going to invite each one of you to also invite the consciousness of the constellation Aquarius right now.
And so we call for Aquarius to join us in this vibration of Pluto. And so feel, we call forth Aquarius, the whole system, and feel this energy, a much larger energy, the influence of Aquarius, and feel. Very good. Very good. Can you feel that gentle energy of Aquarius? Indeed. And so now, once more, we're going to ask for these energies to withdraw from this meditation. And we connect again to the angelic realm, who are still holding us in their loving, energetic embrace. The angels. Take a moment just to feel their presence with you. And again, we're going to invite with a strong intention and desire. So each one of us asking inside now for the energy of Mercury.
So we are calling for the presence of Mercury.
And feel. Here it comes. The consciousness of Mercury, the messenger. Feel. 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 Invite Mercury to come closer. As you invite the energies of these conscious beings into your field, you are connecting more with them. You are allowing a deeper connection to the influences from these heavenly bodies to support you in your awakening process. Remember, all is here for a supporting mechanism for your own awakening, your own elevation of consciousness. So feeling Mercury, noticing it is a different vibration, a different sensation from those planets that have come before. Mercury vibrating you right now. And just asking Mercury to support you with your awareness, especially in those times when Mercury appears to be going in retrograde, to support you in being more present, more aware of what's happening within and around you in those retrograde moments. Very good. Very good. And now we ask the consciousness of Mercury to withdraw from our field, to move out of this meditation and feeling again, just being held by the presence of the angels. Very good.
Very good. And so, another planet now, the one known as Venus, one who carries a very special energy of love, connection. And so we ask each one of you to ask inside for the presence of Venus.
We call for the energy, the consciousness of Venus to come into this meditation. She's already coming. Can you feel this getting stronger now? The presence of Venus, the consciousness of this huge, huge planet coming to you right now, coming into this global meditation. Feel, invite Venus to align with you, to support you in this moment and moving forward into this year, into your lifetime. Venus, feel her presence. Yes. Very good. Very good. Just basking in her energy. Very good. And so now once more, we are going to invite the consciousness of Venus to move back out of this meditation so that we can sense the planets yet to come. And so we are again just being held by the energies of the angels, creating for us a safe environment where we can allow these vast beings to connect with us.
And so the energy of the planet Mars now, action, sometimes associated with anger and even warfare, but beloveds, all of these planets have a higher expression. And so we are going to ask you to invite the helpful, benevolent expressions of the planet Mars.
And so we call for the power of Mars.
Power.
And feel.
And the presence.
Ask and receive. Here comes the energy of Mars. And feel. Yes. Invite Mars to come closer. The power that can support you in your own confidence, your own creativity. Yes. The energy of Mars vibrating you now, allowing yourself to align with these energies to propel you forward on a higher timeline, greater creativity, powering your movement. Very good. Very good.
And again, we now ask the energy of Mars to gently recede into the background and connecting again with the energy of the angelic realm, holding you, aligning you with the quantum field as we bring in the next planet, Uranus.
And so each one of you asking inside again with a combination of a desire and intention, the heart and the mind together, inviting the presence of Uranus. And here it comes. Can you feel this? A very different energy from that of Mars. It has more of a lightness. Feel, just feel. Again, just by inviting these energies, they vibrate you, connecting you more clearly to these vast beings, feeling the energy of Uranus, gently vibrating you in this global meditation. Each and every one of us being blessed right now by the energies of Uranus. Very good. Relax and allow this gift to come to you. Very good. And again, we're going to invite Uranus to gently remove the energies from this meditation.
And another vast and beautiful consciousness of the stars, of the planets, of your heavens, wishing to join you now. It is the planet Neptune, one who is very connected with spirituality.
And so each one of you asking inside for Neptune, the consciousness of Neptune coming here now, feeling Neptune, feeling Neptune, inviting, receiving, feeling yet another vibration, another consciousness, feeling Neptune in all that beautiful energy, that consciousness coming to you directly, and your energy field just aligning once more with this vast being. Very good. Very good. Feeling. Yeah.
And your luminaries now wishing to make an appearance. First, the energy of your sun. And so again, we ask each one of you just to ask inside for the consciousness of your sun to come to you.
We call for the power and the presence, the light of the sun and the energy of the central sun coming through our sun, and feel the power, the vibrancy, the golden light of the sun, feeling, integrating, allowing the power, a masculine energy coming to you, a divine energetic coming to you through the sun, connecting, feeling that energy that radiates throughout this whole galaxy. Very good. Very good.
And now, your moon.
Inviting the moon to join the sun so that the male energy and the soft feminine energy of the moon together, feeling them, the harmony, the balance, the love for you, the caring for you and humanity expressed by these conscious beings. Just feel. Just feel. Very good. Very good. And so let us now invite all the planets again to bring their energy back into this meditation. As we have felt them individually, now let's invite them all to come together in this moment of now, as they all interact together in this very moment, creating for humanity a crucible of their energies, which are designed to awaken, to support, and to encourage each one of us on our own path to enlightenment, our own path to knowing ourselves, our own path back into the oneness, so that this earth can ascend and be part of our galactic community.
So we are calling for the presence of all the planets in this solar system right now.
And feel as they all come and join us, feeling almost like a warm blanket of energy coming to you, coming to us all. And now, beloveds, allowing for the possibility that you are more open, more receptive to the gifts that these planets offer, to the guidance that these planets offer. And so it is. And so now, whilst we bask in their energies, we invite you to bring your focus to your own energy right now. Just feeling the subtle vibrations within, noticing your own energy. And then feeling your physical body, feeling yourself in your body. And still with your eyes closed, being aware of the room around you and feeling your place in your room. And then very slowly, very gently, without rushing, just allowing your eyes to open when you are ready, and then coming fully back into the body, into your room, into this moment of now. Ah.
Wow, this is fantastic. It's like a cosmic party.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really fun. Go ahead.
Neptune was like came like beautiful. There was something magical about Neptune.
Yes, I wonder, do we individually connect more fully with a particular planet, I wonder? Do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was very sensitive to Neptune. It was interesting you started with Saturn because that's my planet. I'm a Capricorn. It was like cold and rigid. And I was happy you went to Jupiter right after that because it was like expansion.
Yeah. So, wow. I think that's the
Um,
first time we've done that with all the planets all at
I
the same
love that.
time.
And when you brought them all together, it was like the cosmic party, and they were like, they're big. It was like there was such a lot of space.
Yeah. Yeah. Ah, Can we take a quick look at the chat?
Yes,
just to
so
see?
we always love to hear feedback from people who are on the live stream with us experiencing this. So Maria is saying Venus overwhelmed me with love.
Yeah. And Elizabeth is saying, I love Venus and Neptune energies.
Mhm. Sherry saying that was so much fun and full of surprises I wasn't expecting. Can't wait to connect with that guided meditation play date again. Cool. Lisa felt her body heat up with Venus.
Mm,
Anna saying when we called in the sun and the moon, she began to cry.
yeah. And Beata is saying, I know Saturn is supposed to be cold, but it was supportive, fatherly energy for her. Mm.
True. That's very true. It's also the planet of wisdom, Saturn. Structure and wisdom.
Yeah, chat.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Yolanda is saying, with the sun, my body temperature went way up.
Cool.
I hope we haven't. I hope we haven't been sunburnt. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. Okay. So Ima is saying I saw cosmic whales when Neptune came in. Interesting.
Yeah. And Shelby on the YouTube is saying, I too felt a beautiful and strong energy with Neptune.
Hmm.
And Pat is saying, Jupiter and Neptune enhanced my spirit. Yeah.
And Lone saying, what a wonderful galactic party. It was so amazing. I could really feel the different energies. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Karen saying she smelled roses before Venus came in.
Oh, wow. Roses are ruled by Venus. That's very
Oh, wow.
real.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's very
Wow. That's interesting. Yeah. And Yanya is saying, I really resonated with Neptune. Several people really connecting to Neptune.
It makes sense.
a
People,
spiritual group. It's a
yeah.
mystical group. Makes sense.
Yeah. Lisa saying, I felt Saturn as cold also. I also felt different planets at different parts of my body.
Ah, yeah.
Actually, that's very true because each part of the body is ruled by a specific sign, which is why we should not operate any part of the body under any astrological configuration. You have to make sure that the moon is not in the sign connected to the organ that you're going to operate on.
Oh, fascinating. Wow,
Interesting.
another whole level. I
Mhm.
can't wait to actually have a deeper reading with you to get some of this more intimate knowledge.
Because that I was talking in general, but of course, based on your date, time, and place of birth, it's a much more personalized reading, for sure.
How do people get in touch with you if they would like to have a personal reading?
MichelleCaren.com, my website, and you go to readings. It's on the front page, on the main home page, and you just sign there.
Great.
And you can
Okay.
also sign up to my YouTube channel, Michelle Karen, Astrologer Shaman, because I give like a forecast every week, every Thursday, the forecast for the next week. And sometimes,
Very cool.
I'll give, like if there is something else going on, I will do another video. And I've done also general videos on the generations and soul returns, all that stuff.
And Brenda has put in both the chats Michelle's website, so you can click on those or go directly there. Ah, wow. And Gailey is saying, I was amazed at the massiveness of Jupiter, but very
Yeah.
blissful and warm.
Yeah. Actually, cold corresponds to Saturn, warm corresponds to Jupiter. Restriction, Saturn, and expansion, Jupiter. And if you look at the symbol of Jupiter and Saturn, they're exactly opposite. So they are like the threshold planets.
Hmm.
We need expansion and we need restriction. We need both.
Mhm.
Julie is saying, during the astrological reading, I became aware of the alignment of the information to the events I have been unfolding magically in my reality.
Oh, that's
Beautiful.
true. That's how astrology was discovered. What was going on in the sky and what was going on in the earth, and the parallelism of how, when that was happening, this was happening. So, as above, so below. That's how it all began.
Interesting. That makes sense. I never thought about that before.
Another interesting aspect, this is from Colleen. She's saying, so many odd and interesting visions, but it ended with a blast of pure white light.
Mhm.
Wow, enlightenment.
Fascinating.
Because all the planets represent a principle, and in the end, we should be all the signs and all the planets. So that's what Colleen experienced.
Mm. And Renata is saying, Jupiter, much love and tears, the only planet retrograde in my chart.
Uh, so-
Okay, wow. I
This
think
is
this was a really fantastic experience,
Yeah.
Michelle, and I really, really appreciated all
oh,
the
thank
gifts
you.
you gave us.
And the gifts you brought, both of you, that was amazing. Thank you. I had never done a meditation like that. I speak to the planets, but I had never actually meditated with the planets. So that was fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. I mean, it was interesting feeling the energetic differences. I mean, we hadn't done that before, and that was just triggered by this experience with us all together.
it's
We need to
really,
do
yeah.
it again. We
Yeah.
definitely need to do it again. This is wonderful. Really wonderful.
Okay.
And that shows astrology is not some stuff we got from some bag, it's really connecting to something very real energetically.
Mm, mm. So thank you everybody for sharing this time with us. It's still possible. You can tell your friends if you were touched by this, they can still sign up, receive the recording and receive the energies. That's the beautiful thing about working with the quantum field. Even if it's a recording, you will be able to feel those energies as well as receiving the incredible wisdom from Michelle.
Thank
So
you
thank you once more, Michelle. Thank you,
so
everybody.
much. It was amazing. Thank you. And thank you to all of you. I read the comments, they were like incredible. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Okay. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.